Next up, we have Koonenberry Gold. Now, it's the new kid on the block, ladies and gentlemen, because they only listed in September of this year. So they truly are the new kid on the block. The ASX code is KNB. Joining me today is Karen O'Neill. She is the CEO. And this is an emerging gold province. So I'm pretty excited to not only hear about this, but share it to all of you, the audience today. Karen, thanks for joining us at the Virtual Gold Conference. Good to see you. Now, given you're the new kid on the block, let's just do I guess a brief overview of who are Koonenberry Gold.
Thanks very much for having me, Kerry. We're very excited. We're very grateful for the support we received in our listing, and we are just so looking forward to getting the exploration program underway. So Koonenberry Gold, we are a mineral exploration development company. Our project is in northwest New South Wales. We're 160 kilometres northeast of the major mining and cultural centre of Broken Hill.
I love Broken Hill.
Broken Hill, it's great. And it's handy having that so close by as well. We've got 1,339 square kilometres along the Koonenberry Fault. And we believe we've got the best area along that fault, as it has seen very little historical exploration to date. And we have found mineralization on the surface. We have found nuggets. We have found mineralized gold in outcropping reefs. So we're confident there's gold there. What our objective is to find the source of that. We're looking for big gold deposits, and that's the focus of our exploration program. What's important about that area is that we have similar rock structure alteration to the Victorian goldfields, obviously, known to have produced multi-million ounces of gold. We have the same aging. The geological timing is about 515 million years old. We've got, similar to the Storwell mineralization, we have quite an interesting equivalent for the Magdala basalt that they have. So we're very excited. We believe there is huge prospectivity here.
Okay, so thanks for that, because a lot of people won't have come across you. The Koonenberry Fault, can you, before we get into what work you're doing there, what is the Koonenberry Fault? Isn't it an extension of the Victorian goldfields, and how, could just explain it a little bit more for us?
It's not an extension of the Victorian goldfields, but it has, where it is, it goes, we've got about 60 kilometres perhaps of the actual Koonenberry Fault. It extends much further than that. And coming off that fault, there are a lot of sub-faults as well. That area is an emerging area at the moment. There are multi-company, multi-commodity investment options going at the moment. We've got gold, there's copper. The area has been quite remote, so it's not been as developed as the Victorian goldfields, and it's new. It has potential. The actual Koonenberry Fault, it's a fold and thrust type of fault, and that orogeny is very, very similar to the Victorian goldfields, but in particular the Storwell zone.
Sorry to interrupt you, but you mentioned earlier that there were, I mean, I feel like I need to go out there right now because you said nuggets on the ground. I'm like, oh, really? What attracted you to this particular project? When did you peg it? When did you start to say, you know what, there's something out there and this has not even been looked at? I guess the point I'm getting at is, how did you guys get your hands on it? Why hasn't work been done on it in the past?
Really, the opportunity to get land access. There have been some previous exploration companies that have tried to work out there, but it's been quite difficult. We're just very lucky that we have our previous directors and some people they were working with managed to negotiate land access agreements with some station owners there. Prior to that, it would have been very difficult to get any structured exploration program in place. So this is extremely important to us to maintain this relationship. we realize that we're very lucky to be in this position. And
so sorry to interrupt you again, but so the land access itself, so the people that have got the land out there, they're happy for you to be out there, happy for you to be exploring. There's no issues out there. Are there issues with any sort of I guess the Indigenous groups out there, anything like that, or not?
No. So these station owners, they're very supportive of us. They're very supportive of us exploring and drilling. They are quite keen for us to get moving on the program. All they ask of us is that we do the right thing, which we obviously want to. We're going to do best practice in that we can for environmental purposes and everything else. So yes, we have support, and you know, I think that it will go well. We don't have any at this stage. We don't have any heritage issues or anything at all like that. We have a good relationship with some of the Aboriginal owners as well. We've had a land access agreement in place, and you know, we're very, very respectful. We try and ensure that good communication, and we try and work with everyone and meet all of their requirements as well.
Now, you listed in September. It was an interesting time, especially with New South Wales going into a bit of. I got to bring it up. It's because you're in Perth, projects in New South Wales, but I think it's about to open up. Is that right? Are you going to be, well, maybe not you out of Perth, because WA, what is it? You're still not allowed out. But
no, we're still in the fortress. But hopefully February.
Yes, exactly, in time for the Gold Conference, which would be fantastic.
Exactly right.
Just so you all know, the Australian Gold Conference is happening in February in Sydney, and Karen and I have decided she's going to be out, that Mark McGowan is going to open those borders, and you can all meet her in person, which is even better than Zoom. But we're talking on the 18th of November. I think, have you got a team in South Australia? Are they going to be able to get up?
So South Australia are opening their borders come the 23rd of November. So we'll be able to get our team to site. In the meantime, while borders have been closed with New South Wales, we have continued to do some of the studies and some of the work that we wanted to do, but it has, you know, obviously it's impacted us a little. Pretty much every single state locked themselves out of New South Wales. So I had people in Queensland, Victoria. You know, it's been a challenge, but we're on track. And you know, we believe that we'll be able to get the drilling program up in March next year.
But also, Karen, do you think it's also given you time? Because I always say to people, you know, rushing around and throwing a drill bit into the ground is not necessarily the best strategy. Have you taken advantage of the fact that you couldn't get to site to say, you know what, let me have some thinking time and some strategies and planning time? So it'd be good to, I guess, share with our listeners what Koonenberry Gold has been doing since listing to, I guess, make sure that you're a good custodian of shareholder funds.
Well, the most valuable asset of any exploration company is the data and the knowledge of the mineral assets they have. And there's been a significant amount of data that's been collected over time by the New South Wales Department and a handful of other exploration companies in the area. Now we're collating and validating this information. You know, this database, it's got a lot of really important data, and it can be used to expedite our progress. So that's one of the key things we're working on. We have kicked off our multidisciplined program as planned. Our structural geology review has been a little bit delayed from COVID, but that's going to be in place, and that's going to start in January, and that's going to be defining the geometry and location of host rocks and the structural evolution, because I think it's important that investors, and especially investors who may have been part of the company before IPO, we're not focusing on surface gold, we're focusing on hard rock. We're looking for that big discovery underground. We're looking for the source of that surface gold. So it's really important for us to really define the geometry, understand the trends, and the structures that we're looking at. Within sort of the next couple of months, we're going to complete some ground magnetics, some geophysics surveys on key targets, and that's really just to supplement data we've collected on airborne magnetic and radiometric surveys that we've done previously, which have been reviewed and improved. We've got further geochem sampling that we're doing to infill some of the data we have already, but also to look at new prospects. So again, the early stage exploration was more focused on the surface gold. So the focus was on assaying gold. What we're doing is all of these samples and pulps that we've got in storage, we're pulling them out and we are doing multi-element analysis on them. Now, what that means.
I was just about to say, what does that mean? Multi-element analysis, just.
So instead of just looking for gold, we're looking for a lot of different elements. And why this is important is because you want to identify pathfinder elements for gold mineralization. So on the surface, you know, you will find like halos of minerals that are on the surface that point to gold mineralization underground. And once you understand what those halos are and you've collected this data, it's going to help you put that drill in the right place, right? It's all really, really useful information. So, this was never collected before. So we're going back through all of our old samples. We're pulling out all the multi-element data. All of this is going to feed into our database of knowledge. And the outcome of all of these studies is going to be a 3D structural map of the geology. The first draft of it will be in February after we've done our structural review. And out of that will come our first drill program for key target areas, at least 2, hopefully 3 key target areas out of there. But also, we'll continue to refine that, and we'll continue to do that structural review over the whole of the tenement. So we really understand what we're looking at, and we can really try and understand where we think the source of the surface gold is.
Well, you said before that, you know, there's been some work on the surface, but you also said a big discovery. What gives you confidence at this stage? I guess, you know, we were talking off camera a little bit before, and you were quite animated, quite excited about the fact that you know, you have a strong belief, and you know, we're not, ladies and gentlemen, we're not saying it's there, but you know, you have a strong belief that this is an emerging gold province, and that there is more than just gold on surface. I guess let us share, if you can, as much as you can, what you think might be there and why you're confident.
There's a few little things that we actually have put a couple of releases out to market to just try and share some of that excitement. So the first one, you know, we've talked about our main target being Lucky Sevens, and the reason it's our main target, our primary target, is because we've done more work there, and previous explorers have done some work there, and there had been some previous drilling. But what we've done is we've sort of reviewed it on a structural basis and had a look at the actual structure of it on a bigger scale. And you know, we're looking at Lucky Sevens, and we're going, you know what? We actually think this is repeated. This is not just a single target anymore. We actually think, judging by the trend lines, and we've got anticlinal fold zones, and we know that they all seem to be plunging in the same area, you know, the same direction. We actually believe that we could have repetitions of that particular target, and that's quite similar to how the mineralization is in the Victorian goldfields as well.
Right.
But when we look at this is also helping us go, you know what, we're going to go and do some of that sort of cheaper exploration, some of those soils and some of that, you know, ground geophysics, to help us build that theory. It's supported by the fact that we found surface gold, you know, along some of these stretches. And we believe that these repetitions can go, you know, even further east underneath Cretaceous cover, which hasn't been explored at all.
How big is that cover? Just by curious.
I'm not sure. I don't think it's really, really deep, but because all of the work done to date has been surface driven,
right? Yeah.
We've not done anything on it.
Yeah.
But in doing some of this early work, we're trying to understand the gold anomalies. And what that shows us is we're trying to understand the mineralized trend. So we're looking at what these structures are and what that trend is. So, we've also recently just put out an announcement. And, Lucky Seven's our key target. We've got gold anomaly over 2.5 kilometers long, 450 meters at widest point at, 10 parts per billion gold. And we believe that structure is over 3 kilometers long, outcropping mineralized reef. It's all great, and we believe that reef goes to depth. We did a trial geophysical resistivity survey on that, and we believe it goes to depth at least 80 to 100 meters, if not further. But while doing those soil anomalies, we came across this other target, which actually has 5.5 kilometers long and 100 meters at the widest point of gold anomalies at 10 parts per billion, 5.5 kilometers long. Now, we estimate the structure is over 6 kilometers and possibly further. And
all the one structure, is that what you're saying?
All the one structure. And Koonenberry is the first to undertake exploration around this target. So there is no other data on this target apart from the work that we've done on it. And this is currently the largest soil anomaly we've defined on the project. And it's quite interesting. We've got some rock chips and we've got a copper association in there. So it's actually pointing towards a completely different style of mineralization as well. So we've got Lucky Sevens, which looks like, possibly a stall zone type of mineralization. And we've got Atlantis, which is just huge. And, we have another one, which we've got about 4 kilometers long. We're seeing scale here. This is really quite exciting. This is quite big scale for us. And
is that the case? Sorry, Karen, to interrupt you. Is that the difference, the scale that this could potentially be? Is that what you're saying? So it's not just a deposit, it's a province, it's a district.
Exactly right.
Highly mineralized.
Exactly right. And we'll work on the targets we've done a lot of work on now, but we are just so interested in looking at the rest of it and seeing what hasn't even been looked at before, because the big discovery might be there.
Well, I can feel your excitement. It must be so frustrating not to be able to get out and just go get this drawing. Let me. We've got a couple of minutes left, so let me just ask you this quickly. Let's hope the borders open up in February. But regardless, are you going to start drilling in March? Is that right?
Yes. So that's our current schedule. We've got everything sort of locked in for that. So unless there was an absolute brand new COVID outbreak, I can't see anything stopping us now.
Okay, and that's going to be a very exciting time as well. So, we're letting you know about this before the drill rig and all the results come out, ladies and gentlemen. So one of the last things I want to know, Karen, is we've got lots of investors out there from all over the world having a listen. This is not just a deposit. This could be a whole province. Lots of areas, as you said, 3 kilometers, 6 kilometers, 5 kilometers, very wide widths. Tell me 3 reasons why you think that investors should be sitting up and taking notice of ASX code KNB right now.
Number one, the opportunity. Koonenberry Gold Project has the untested potential to be a major new gold discovery. Number two, the locality. We're in an emerging province that's geologically similar to the multi-million ounce producing Victorian goldfields. Huge prospectivity with little systematic exploration undertaken to date. And number three, we're drill ready. We are funded, we are permitted, we have land access, we have just implementing our multidisciplined exploration program, drilling in progress by the end of next quarter, studies being undertaken, high impact solid news flow from this point onwards.
Well, there you heard it. They're getting underway. They only listed in September this year. The ASX code is KNB. Karen O'Neill, I know you're chomping at the bit to get out to that area around Broken Hill. Sounds exciting. Emerging gold province for Koonenberry Gold. Watch this space. Put on your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Karen, great to see you. We'll see you in the Zoom networking where you can all ask her questions later today. Thanks, Karen.
Thanks very much, Kerry.